everyone, and welcome to a new podcast presented by Tonique Media called Mental Debrief. I'm your host, Emma Wright, and co-hosting along with me is Tonique's very own Cade Guerrero.
Hey, how's it going? I'm glad to join you on this discussion on mental health.
Yeah, me too. I feel like this is going to be a really cool thing for us to explore, just have pretty open, candid conversations about what mental health looks like in our generation.
Yeah, exactly. And, we're here to kind of like provide that cool vibe to it and kind of end the stigma and just let everybody watch this and listen to this without having that sense of like, okay, this isn't just another one of those mental podcasts where they're going to like tell me to like breathe or like go for a walk. Everything's okay. It's like going to be one of those where we're here to tell you that you're not alone. We're all in this together. And we want to just generate that conversation of like, hey, let's help each other out. Let's be here together.
Yeah, I think we can both agree that we've kind of noticed a lack of that. We get in media presentation in general. There's a lot of content out there that I feel like tells you what to do, and maybe doesn't humanize mental health quite as much as what we're craving.
Absolutely. So let's talk about some of the stuff that we're going to be talking about on this show for episodes to come, now that you're going to find us in the culture section of Tonique. One of the things that we had mentioned is dieting and mental health. Diet and mental health. Which for me...
It's cool.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I think we had a tester episode that was kind of like one of those to just kind of give like a riff on things, but I mentioned that I've been one of those who's been super depressed and eat like everything in my kitchen, and I've also been like same amount of depression but just smoking cigarettes and drinking chamomile tea.
Yeah, I thought it was the funniest combination for whatever reason, like cigarettes and chamomile. It just, I don't know, it's funny to me.
Yeah, so that was like my mental health and diet combined. It was kind of weird.
Yeah, I think that I hear a lot about like, especially because for me, I come from a nutrition background. I'm a licensed nutritional therapy practitioner, an NTP, and we learn a lot about like how your diet can affect influence your mental health one way or another. Like if you're eating like this, it could do this in your brain, or if you are feeling this way, you can kind of curb it with these nutrients, blah, blah, blah. Although obviously those are some processes, but I feel like we don't talk as much about what's happening in your brain, how that makes you eat, what that makes you crave, and what it makes you want to do. It's because that's a whole new conversation.
Right. Yeah, totally. And I mean, it's just like one of those neurological things that I mean, you would know so much better than I do. Because I was like, why am I craving cigarettes and chamomile tea? I have no clue.
And there's probably something in there, like some nutrient in the tea that your body is craving, and then nicotine in a cigarette is going to be a stimulant to your brain if you're feeling depressed. Like that's like a easy fix. Kind of like, I mean, alcohol is similar. People tend to drink more when they're depressed because it makes them kind of feel something again, or I tend to drink when you're angry or something, like, oh my god, I just need a drink. It kind of has those impulses, and of course there's balance to all those things. When I feel like, oh my god, I could really use a drink, like I try to kind of check that a little bit and just ask myself why that's the case. Especially I feel like you can relate to, like, we both work at a bar. It's pretty easy to, after a long shift, just be like, oh my god, yeah, I really want a shifter.
It's like, it's just like easy to go kind of like, and especially in the environment you're in, and like your coworkers are just like, yeah, let's get some drinks, man. It's like Friday night. Friday
night, or especially, I don't know about you, but for me, we work like brunch shifts on weekends. I could that one, I really would like a drink after that. Like, oh, and it's shots after brunch.
Right, yeah, totally. So what else do we got on our mental debrief agenda?
talking about like how our upbringing has kind of had affected maybe our mental health and the way we presented it, especially like as teenagers in high school, the kind of stuff that we experienced early on, and as far as what that stigma looked like, how we were able to talk about it, how our families were able to talk about it with us.
Mm-hmm.
We talked a little bit about our high school experiences and how those kind of perpetuated maybe similar ideas, but just in very different ways.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, totally. Our irrational fears as well.
Yes, that
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
And I don't know if you, I mean, I guess like you did get a chance to read that article that went
yeah,
up last. Um,
yeah,
the last team shared a lot of their irrational fears with us, which was pretty cool. I appreciated everybody opening up about that.
yeah. That was cool because I mean, it was nice to see that my irrational fear of presenting in a classroom setting was like, I mean, a couple of people had the exact same like cases. Maybe not the exact same scenario, but it was like, okay, like that's cool to see, I
Yeah,
guess.
it is.
Yeah.
I feel like, especially with something that we think is irrational, like, oh my god, why am I afraid of saying my name in class when we go around and do introductions? We're really
Mm,
afraid to talk about that kind of stuff, which sucks.
mm.
We're just like afraid of judgment, and I don't know. I mean, I'm saying we, but like definitely I am, and I think collectively we are.
Right, right. And what was your irrational fear? Was like,
I really do not like when I go out somewhere to meet somebody. I really dislike getting there early, and that waiting period when I'm waiting for somebody else to show up. It makes me so uncomfortable to the point where I actually like avoid getting to a place early. Like I will get there on time or a couple minutes late so as to try to avoid this situation where I'm waiting for somebody to show
mm,
up. And it's this weird like I don't know. I can't really explain why that is, but there's something about that latency period where I don't really, it's like I don't have a purpose in that meantime. I'm just waiting for somebody else to show up to give me that purpose, and I don't like other people seeing me wait. It's very
mm,
complex and very strange. Um, but I mentioned it is strange because even weirder because I have no problem going to places by myself if that's the intention. Like I go and get my writing done at a bar, and I go out to the grocery shop by myself, and I go out to dinner by myself sometimes, and I go and hang out at coffee shops for hours on end by myself. I'll go on day trips by myself, but
mhm.
something about that waiting for somebody else is really uncomfortable for me.
Yeah, yeah, totally. I can relate to that as well. I'm like kind of similar in that, but I remember one time I just was like, there was a super long wait, and I was like, okay, I need to go get a table. So I actually kind of broke through from that irrational fear. Yeah,
Hey,
because I used to
nice.
actually I used to have that as well. I never
Really?
really realized it, yeah, until you had mentioned it, and then I was like, oh wait, I used to be like that.
Hey,
Yeah,
congrats. We can
yeah.
overcome our fears by just moving through them, moving through the uncomfortable part of it.
Hmm. Yeah,
That's cool.
absolutely.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
I was it was cool to see everybody's responses, and I also appreciated how many responses we got too. Um, which kind of takes us back to really how we got the idea to start this podcast in the first place, the mental health forum that we did a couple of months ago with our team.
Right. Has it already been a couple of months now?
Yeah, we did that in January.
Wow.
I know.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was crazy. Yeah. Yeah, and thank you to all of our Tonique team members who came and kind of talked about it. It was nice.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so Cade approached me with this idea of having like this, I don't know, forum is what we called it, but it was really a discussion. Lasted about 2 hours. We had 5 men and 5 women from the Latinique team,
Hmm.
and from all across a lot of different time zones too, which was really fun to coordinate. And so I really appreciate everybody making the time. But just to get together over Zoom and talk about like our experiences with mental health. We had people who struggle all the time. We had people who have struggled in the past and not so much anymore. We had people who are like, this is all new to me. I just want to learn. And we just talked for a while, which was fantastic.
Hmm. Yeah, absolutely. And it was good
Yeah.
to get to know everyone a little bit better as well. You know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. And that kind of
Hmm.
spurred the idea for this podcast to talk a little bit more about that and break it down.
Hmm.
Also, in upcoming episodes, I absolutely want to talk about like suicidal thoughts, how that works
Yeah.
in the brain, how does it make you feel. I feel like that's a widely misunderstood topic.
Yeah, absolutely. I know I have a lot of experiences with that, and we could totally just like take down that path in one episode. I would love to do that.
Yeah.
That's one episode I'm definitely looking forward to. But yeah, we're also gonna be talking about, even I think with us, like kind of like, grabbing that drink. We could talk about drinking and mental health as well, drug
Yeah.
use. Yeah,
For sure.
we
Yeah.
can hit it
I'm
all.
excited to Yeah, I'm excited to use this as a
Mm-hmm.
platform to talk about just the stuff that we don't ordinarily see in the media, and
Mm-hmm.
also to kind of share our experiences too. You mentioned depression. I also struggle with depression. I struggle with a lot of anxiety, kind of in a panic way,
Mm-hmm.
and then I also have PTSD. So we're hitting a lot of different bases here because I struggle with those things, I might not understand somebody who struggles with like bipolar. Like that's completely foreign to me, and I want to learn about that too. So at some point, maybe we can even like have some guests on, like see who wants to talk about this too.
Yeah, absolutely. Hit us up. Let us know if you
Hit
want to
us
jump on for
up.
an episode. Yeah. Yeah, but
Yeah. Drop a line.
but I'm right there with you. It's like, I have anxiety. I suffer from depression on a daily basis, but that's what we want to just like table that discussion and try to
For
like
sure.
bring it to light, bring it to light. And that's the most important thing here. Is bringing all those topics to light.
Yeah.
Mm,
And within that too, just sharing maybe like how you get to a diagnosis like that. I feel like also a lot of people live without really knowing that this is something that they struggle with, or maybe they have an idea, but they don't want to reach out for one reason or another, again, because of a lot of stigma. So
mm,
this is also intended to be kind of an encouraging thing too. Like we're all human. Having a brain is really weird. So we're here to
exactly.
help you work.
Yeah. Well, cool. I
Being
think that's yeah. Sorry to even to cut you off.
Oh
Yeah,
no, no,
but
it's not. Being conscious is strange.
right, yeah. So, but I think that sums up our first episode, right? I mean, that's perfect. We got
Absolutely.
it. So just make sure to check us out in the culture section of La Tonique, and at the same time on the culture section of our YouTube channel. So this will be the first official episode of Mental Debrief, hosted by Emma Wright and myself, Cade. So we hope to see this kind of podcast kind of not exactly blow up, but get to the right people. You know, we just wanted to really help people kind of understand these situations that they might be in. So
And
yeah.
I also just want to add, like, this podcast is for anybody too. It
Mm-hmm.
doesn't matter if you do struggle with mental illness, or if you think you do, or if you don't. I want this to reach whoever's ears it needs to, because I understand
Mm-hmm.
it can help us create a better sense of community as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Emma. I really appreciate it. And
Thank
yeah, make sure to check out our second episode, which will be coming out next week, we promise. And also, check out Soul 48. That's our sponsor for today's show. And make sure to check out their website and their merch as well. Other than that, yeah, make sure to subscribe to Lock Tonique's newsletter, and we'll be around.
See you next time.